Family's everything. I mean, I've had so many business partners with various businesses over the past 15 years. The ones that work out the best are ones where you treat each other as family. That's why you see a lot of successful family run businesses where it gets passed through different generations or brothers or father, son, mother, daughters, whatever partner up. Those are the ones that you can trust to do the right thing and usually not screw you over or steal from you. So I think whenever deciding to be a founder and get a partner, it's someone that you could consider family and you treat as family with the respect, transparency, authenticity, liability, things of those nature. Just that way you have the best chance of succeeding while hopefully not hating each other throughout the process.
Welcome to A Founder's Life, and I'm your host, Leo Gestetner. On this show, we dive into the real stories behind the highs and lows of entrepreneurship and how we pursue a more balanced and meaningful life along the way. This podcast is sponsored by Thankz, helping founders like us scale with reliable remote talent. Our founders at thankz.com, that's THANKZ.com, with the subject line A Founder's Life, and you'll receive $1,000 off your first month. Now, I'm excited today to be joined by Mac Frederick. Mac, would you like to introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah. So name's Mac Frederick, entrepreneur, business owner, living in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, mid-30s, running a multimedia agency for the past 10 years. Used to work for Google, and now we help a lot of small businesses with anything Google related for the most part, and like to travel the world and run the business and work remote and have fun.
Excellent. Well, why don't you talk a little bit about some of your journey that brought you to where you are today and the different businesses you've got keeping you busy, along with sort of where you like to travel?
Yeah. Well, I guess the story starts, I grew up in the rural parts of Pennsylvania, farmlands and all that good stuff, and played sports my whole life, played soccer, went to college to play soccer and realized, learned about this thing called entrepreneurship, which I just thought meant being a businessman, but started taking classes in entrepreneurship, got involved with different startups and new organizations, started my first business, got recruited by Google, went through that, interview hiring process, got the job with Google, and I was there for about a year and a half. Meanwhile, I started a marketing agency on the side just to help like friends and family and small business owners. Taught myself a lot about digital marketing, search engine optimization. But at Google, I was a Google Ads consultant for small businesses and realized, a gap in the market and opportunity to start my own agency. And so I did that on the side. Google found out, fired me on the spot, which was definitely a wrench in my career plan, but forced me to go all in on this marketing agency. So started Momentum Digital 10 years ago this month, August 2015. Have gone through all the ups and downs, the wins and losses of building an agency to, what we're hoping to close into an 8-figure agency here in the next year or two. But I also have 2 other companies that I run in Philadelphia that I'm hoping to sell so I can focus even more on the agency. So it's been a journey, and I like to help coach and mentor younger entrepreneurs as well. So that's a little bit of the background here.
Thank you. And what does family mean to you?
Family's everything. I mean, I've had so many business partners with various businesses over the past 15 years. The ones that work out the best are ones where you treat each other as family. That's why you see a lot of successful family run businesses where it gets passed through different generations or brothers or father, son, mother, daughters, whatever partner up. Those are the ones that you can trust to do the right thing and usually not screw you over or steal from you. So I think whenever deciding to be a founder and get a partner, it's someone that you could consider family and you treat as family with the respect, transparency, authenticity, liability, things of those nature. Just that way you have the best chance of succeeding while hopefully not hating each other throughout the process.
That's always a good goal.
Yeah.
And what do you like to do for health?
What do I like to do? What, for fun?
Sorry, what do you like to do for health? So what does that look like for you, whether that be mental health, physical health, nutrition, sleep? What does health look like for you?
I'm very active. I'm just that type of person, played sports my whole life, and I still play sports pretty actively. In various soccer leagues here in Philadelphia. I played soccer since I was 4 years old, still play pretty competitively. I go to the gym, I'm working out 3 to 5 times per week, and I have been for the past 20 years since I was 15 years old. So health is really big to me. I think physical health and physical fitness actually helps my mental health as well. Just being a business owner, entrepreneur, there's just so much going on and it's a lot of stress. So going to the gym, running, working out definitely helps relieve that stress and helps with your overall mental clarity. I think mental health is like something that's been a thing, for the past 10 years now. But before that, it wasn't really talked about much. But, I actually just came from the gym and sauna um, in this co-working space, the Fitler Club here in Philadelphia, which is really cool. It's got a pool, it's got sauna, cold plunge, free weights, Pilates, all these different things here.
Nice. Yeah, I do believe in healthy body, healthy mind. I think it definitely, the two go closely together.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you like to do for fun?
Play sports. I'm definitely very active. I'm trying to get more into pickleball. That's a big craze right now. I'm trying to play more tennis, but play a lot of sports. I go to sporting events, soccer games, Phillies, basketball, football, everything. I like to read. I like to run. I like to, hang out with friends. Big into golfing now, taking up a lot of golfing. I just like to be outside for the most part. And for travel, I'd love to travel, like mostly warm places. Don't travel anywhere cold, usually to a beach or an island. I'm going to Italy in a few days for like 2 weeks. So traveling is definitely big.
And what for you does a balanced life look like? So, not working 24/7. How does that balanced life look?
Well, I think as a founder and entrepreneur, the earlier stages, the beginning of your career, starting a business, I think it's normal to have less of a balance because you're figuring things out. You're spending, if you don't have, investors or capital or much money, financial resources, you're going to need to invest your time more than anything. And so like starting out as an entrepreneur, I was burning the midnight oil. I was working 18 hours a day and going to the gym at midnight, waking up 7 a.m., doing it all again. So I didn't sleep much, probably sleep at like 4 or 5 hours a night. But now I've got to get a full 8 hours to feel rested, rejuvenated. I like to wind down at the end of the night in terms of like going to the gym and then cooking dinner, relaxing, maybe watching some TV and just not being on my phone as much or just like reading, spending time outside. But it's more of a luxury as you, I guess, get older and more settled into your career as an entrepreneur, because in the beginning stages, you've got to work more than realistically you want to work. And, a lot of people that want to be an entrepreneur, but have a 9 to 5 don't understand you're going to work twice as much to make less than you probably were at your job in the beginning, at least. And you just have to go into it knowing that and being okay with that.
Yeah, you definitely, I often say to people, don't become an entrepreneur if your key goal is to make money, because in the short term, maybe even the medium term, you're probably not going to, hopefully in the long term.
Yeah.
But, it takes a while to get there.
It took me, when I started out, it was just me being like a freelance consultant marketing expert and doing Google ads and SEO. And, by the time I got fired from Google, I was already making more money outside of the 9 to 5, because people think you make a lot of money working for Google. And that's really only if you're higher up in like mid to high level management or in the tech side. So like an engineer, programmer, software developer, something in that aspect. But a majority of the jobs at Google, whether it's sales or customer support or consulting, my starting salary was like 60 grand a year. So that's $5,000 a month. And within a few months with my side hustles and starting businesses, I was able to match that. So by the time I got fired, it's not like it was a huge loss at the end of the day. It sucked losing the stock options, but other than that, some people are meant to be entrepreneurs and some aren't. That's what I really think.
So what's one piece of advice you'd give to an aspiring entrepreneur?
I just had this conversation Saturday with somebody starting their own marketing agency. And I think anybody starting a business really needs to understand themselves first. So they need to take a deep look and be very introspective to understand what makes them tick, what motivates them, how they manage themselves, how they manage their emotions, and how they can, compartmentalize their life, being their own boss and making all those decisions. Because at the end of the day, there's nobody else to really fall back on if you're the founder, if you're the small business owner starting and running your own business. It's good to have a mentor and people you can get feedback from and ask questions to. But at the end of the day, you really need to look within yourself and know what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, and be okay not making money, like you said, and just being able to have some sort of understanding of, okay, if it was me, I'd be fine being my own boss, being an entrepreneur and making not much money at all and living in my parents' basement for a few years if I had to. but some people that's just not the lifestyle they want. So yeah, I think really understanding yourself and what makes you tick, what motivates you, what you're good at, and how you can balance these things and stay strong mentally is really important.
Great advice. And how can people find you?
Big on Google, search Mac Frederick on Google or search the agency Momentum Digital. Also on all the social media platforms, Mac Frederick. So just Google me.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you joining us today.
Yeah, thanks so much. I appreciate you having me.
And thanks for listening to today's episode. If you enjoyed the conversation, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, tell your friends, and leave a review.